What's going on? It's the Rap Nerd, and we are officially halfway through the year. So what I've been doing on my channel is just going over my favorite movies of the year thus far. This is going to be a top 10, and it's just been a great year for cinema, regardless of what they're saying about the box office. Even though I feel like it'll still get better, we got way more of the year to go. It's been great for movies, man. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I have two honorable mentions before I get into my top 10. At number 12 for me personally is Frogman. This is a found footage movie about a guy who saw a creature named the Frogman when he was a youngster, and he goes back to that town to find the Frogman. I think it's an excellent found footage movie, man. If you have not seen it, give it a watch. I think it's on Amazon for about $4 to rent, especially if you're into found footage. I would say give it a watch. I don't know if this is gonna change your mind if you're not into that type of genre of horror, but I loved it and I have it as an honorable mention. The next honorable mention is The Fall Guy. Again, great film. It's about a stunt guy who gets pulled into an underworld of crime, putting his stunt skills to the test. Dope film all around. This is like a meta screen version of stunt work in Hollywood. I think it's done so tastefully. And granted, I know David Leitch has done the kind of meta thing in a lot of his movies, and that's what they are. But here, I relate it to Scream because it's a movie about movies with a storyline under that. And it does it in a brilliant way, the same way I've seen it done in Scream. So gotta have that as an honorable mention as well. All right, so at number 10, I have The First Omen. This movie was a sleeper. I didn't think it was gonna be good. I saw the trailer and I was like, we're doing more things ripping off of old franchises, but no, not this film. This film is haunting, it's disturbing. There's imagery that I had to turn away from. I was like, holy shit, what is that? And if you've seen the film, you know what I mean. I think that the director killed it. It's framed well, it's beautifully shot, it's lit well. It's just like a modern day high art horror film. That's what I can say about it. And it is equally as beautiful as it is disturbing. All of the performances are stellar, including the lead actress. I forgot her name at the moment, but if she didn't do the job right, this movie would have fell apart, but she put her all into it, and you can see it, especially that street scene when she was like possessed / having birth. Chilling shit to say the least. So at number 10, I had The First Omen. Now my next pick at number 9 is probably gonna make some people pissed off based on the comments and dislikes I got on the video. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. I really enjoyed this film a lot. I love seeing the action and just letting Zack go off completely when it comes to the action sequences. And just as is in this PG-13 cut, I really enjoy, so I'm really looking forward to what the director's cut has. I love this world that Zack built. I love all of these different characters. I love the little emotional moments between the villagers and the rebels who came to fight for him. I love the action sequence on the ship. I love the action sequences on the ground of just straight gunfire, war play, the inclusion of Jimmy, the beautiful cinematography. It all just, me personally, man, I really loved it and cannot wait to see the director's cut, because we all know rated R is where Zack shines most. So for me, if this movie is this powerful, you don't imagine what the director's cut is. So at number 9, I have Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. At number 8 is another sleeper called Boy Kills World. This film is about this kid who had his family killed, and he spends his whole life training to take down the royal family that killed his off. I don't know why they didn't market it. I don't know what happened, but it is one of the best action films, period. I love the action in this film. It feels like a kung fu flick in the future, set in the world of a video game. And that sounds like a lot, but man, when you see this movie, it is batshit crazy in the best possible ways. Bill Skarsgård leads the film and doesn't even talk. It's a narration of somebody else, but it all works, man. It's so convincing with the narration and then the action style, seeing all of the actors show up and perform. For me, the movie feels like a fusion of Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat all in one, or like Marvel vs. Capcom. It feels like something like that. Just the way the fights are framed and the choreography is done, it is all stellar. And it's just a movie that if you are an action head and have never heard of this film, please go check it out. It's on VOD now. I think the Blu-ray drops soon, and it is well worth watching if you are into action, man. So at number 8, I have Boy Kills World. At number 7 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I went into this movie hesitant because I loved the Apes trilogy that Matt Reeves kind of adopted and made it even better, right? I saw the trailer and I thought the trailer was cool, but again, I was still fearful because I'm like, you're gonna do this franchise dirty, but lo and behold, They knocked it out the park again. I love seeing us in a new world that's fully driven by the apes, and it's a nice connector to what Ward or the Planet of the Apes presented. I love the new protagonist that we can follow along with. It did great things in a sequel that's supposed to do. It's supposed to reestablish what we once knew, but also create excitement for the franchise moving forward. And it pulled it off excellently. The only gripe I have with it is it's kind of slow on a few points, but everything else, the performances, the action, the storyline, the twists and turns, it all is in vein with what we once saw and did not disappoint. So at number 7, I have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. At number 6 is Abigail, and this is just a balls to the wall vampire thriller film. Directed by Radio Silence, the crew that brought us Scream 5 and 6 and Ready or Not. It feels like all of those mixed in one, but with some vampire thrown in, all this bloody gore that they are used to doing in these movies that I just named. What I love about it is it takes place in one location, but it never feels boring. You know, they're in a mansion, but they explore different places and they use the set design to create different atmospheres that just make for a fun time. It's a great cast, a great villain in Abigail being this little girl who has to turn this switch of innocent child to vampire on. And I love what it does with the lore of vampires. It offers some new lore, but also doubles down on what we once knew and also throws some shit right out the window. And I think that when you're taking your liberty with something that's been so used as vampires, you gotta make something a little different. And what they did, I was very happy with. Especially the way they made the vampires intertwine with this world here. So, love this film. Can't wait to buy it on Blu-ray. It was a bloody good time, literally. It's buckets of blood. So at number 6 is Abigail. At number 5 is Bad Boys, Ride or Die. I just think this movie's off the chain. I think it gave us what we already loved about the Bad Boys franchise, but also gave us more in the action department. I mean, the sequences in here are on par with some stuff in the Mission Impossible franchise, and for that I had to put it at this point. The camera work is stellar. One of the best callbacks having to do with the character in the film is one of the best in any franchise, period. And Will and Martin together again on this buddy cop action adventure. What is there not to like, man? Especially, I've been a lover of this franchise since the first one, so to not get disappointed, but also up it one to possibly be the best film in the franchise, I gotta put some respect on this name. So at number 5, at Bad Boys Ride or Die. At number 4 is another action joint called Monkey Man, directed and acted by Dev Patel. He crushed this film. I love this movie. Love it to death. This right here is going to be the example of what I always say about film and why representation matters. Yes, it's a revenge action flick. We've had tons of those and we will continue to have tons of them, but what makes it so different and so unique is the lenses being seen through and the culture that it's being represented through as well. And that's what I love most about it. You know, for one, the action is spectacular. Like, some of the camera angles and the way they chose to shoot these fights are very creative. Having handheld shots and even a little bit of shaky camera, but managed to find that balance of not being too much to where you can't see anything or you want to be sick because of all the movement. I mean, there are some sequences that you're right up front with the fights, but instead of being too much, you're fully engaged with what's going on, and I just love it. And again, the cultural aspects are just phenomenal. There are a lot of things that I learned about this country and the culture, period, that I never knew, but just added so much flavor and richness that you can't get from anybody else because it comes straight from him, the writer, the director, the actors, culture, and it just is all thrown in this gumbo pot to be an explosive action film. So at number 4, I got Monkey Man. At number 3, I have Furiosa. I think this film is just masterful. George Miller doing it again, bringing us back to the roots of Mad Max and being a great direct prequel to Fury Road that retroactively makes Fury Road even better with what he did with this film. Goodness gracious. The action is exactly what you would expect from the franchise and takes it up even more notches. A lot of people knock the CGI, but I feel like the CGI allowed for larger scale action that you couldn't get practically, and it all worked for me, man. Chris Hemsworth gives the performance of a lifetime, being a super memorable moment, and I think might be his best role, period. Anya doing such a great job playing Furiosa, being able to do a lot of acting with her body language, specifically her eyes. You know, she's got those really expressive eyes and she uses them to full capacity here. Beautiful cinematography, excellent score, over-the-top action, badass cars, guns blazing, and this movie just felt way more mythical than Fury Road. I haven't seen the rest of the films, but this one just feels like something of myth, and it being created to have chapters makes it feel even more like you're just reading a novel of myth on Mad Max and this dark angel known as Furiosa. So love this film. At number 3 is Furiosa. At number 2 is Late Night with the Devil. This movie is unique, creative, and creepy all at the same time. It's crazy because this film walks the line of being a found footage movie. I don't know if it could be considered that, but it could be, but it also could be a regular horror film. I don't know where to place it. I just know that it sits in its own box alone, man. I think the cinematography is gorgeous, being able to shoot it this way and make it feel like it's ripped straight from a TV channel from the 70s. It all works. The set design, the aspect ratio, having the letterboxing on the side, the score for the news report, and just the many things that it does with practical effects and even VFX. I found myself being equally engaged as creeped out. Like when they bring that girl out, man, and she gets possessed for the first time and she like looks up and you see her hair through her eye like mine is now, it legit creeped me out. Possession shit is like it gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I feel like they pulled this off perfectly. And I'm glad to see my man, I forgot his first, what is his name is blowing mine, so I'm not gonna say it, but the lead actor, I'm glad he finally got to get his shot of being a lead, because he's been doing so much side character work for so long. He shines here. And just the whole setup of having this TV show surrounding his character to be famous, setting it on Halloween as well, just makes it that much more better. As a horror fan, Halloween movies are my favorites. So it manages to get that kind of vibe and atmosphere of Halloween with the many things it does, but it also isn't super duper Halloween to the point where you can only watch it during that time. It's a fantastic film, fantastically acted, it's trippy, hell of a story, it's written so damn well. The change of position of the camera from going from color to black and white when it's behind the scenes, just incredible. So at number 2, I have Late Night with the Devil. And obviously at number 1, I have Dune Part 2. This movie is a modern day achievement for cinema. I still don't know how they created this film. To this day, I think about the many things that it did and can't help but think like, yo, Denis must have really went to Arrakis and went to all of these different planets to pull this off, because it all looked damn real. VFX are flawless, and even at an almost 3-hour runtime, I never once got bored. It's fully engaging. I love being in these different worlds. The action is stellar. It literally did everything that the first one did and 100 times more. Like, this is my favorite sci-fi movie of all time, period. It doesn't get better than this, in my opinion, for many reasons. The performances from Timothy and Zendaya, Josh Brolin, Austin Butler, everybody came to play here. You can just watch this movie and tell that everybody on set believed in the script Denis wrote and believed in his direction. Let me not say script, because I don't know if he wrote it or not, but I think he did have a hand in writing it. But you could just tell everybody is here to make Denis' vision work. Masterful, beautiful cinematography, a grandiose score. This is a movie of the decade, personally. Like, there's nothing better than this one. I don't really see anything being better, because it's just that damn good. So number 1 is Dune Part 2. So those are my list of my favorite films of the year thus far. We have a lot coming in the remainder of the year that I am so looking forward to. Let me know in the comments, what are your favorite films? Rank them, please. And if my list does not align with yours, again, it's just my list. No knock to you at all. No disrespect. We're all movie fans, so let's celebrate cinema. So if you do like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. Thank you again. And until next time, peace. Nerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.